Hello. So I can't get live at the minute because of Bella having her operation. I've got to keep her still, and unfortunately she doesn't keep still. So what I've got here is some glasses, and I've spray painted them with black and masked off the area around it, around the top, and then I spray painted it black. And then what I'm doing here is I've got UV resin and I'm putting it over the black just with my finger. It doesn't have to be totally perfect, but try and keep it on the black line. And then I've got some bubbly water. It's just, I use bubble bath, and I'm using the straw to make it really bubbly. Then I'm not picking the water up, I'm just picking handfuls of bubbles up and putting it over the resin. And then I'm curing it for about a minute and a half. The bubbles do burst as the resin is curing under the light, but that's absolutely fine. It still works and it leaves this awesome texture. Now, this isn't something I've made up. It's been around for ages. Loads of people have done it. But I've got a mug turner, and I've always loved the UV, the resin cups and things that are getting done. But I've got nowhere to keep a turner keep going for 24 hours. So this idea is absolutely perfect. So you go around the whole of the black area on the glass, doing exactly the same thing, wiping it off as you go and keeping the next area dry. So this is another glass I've got as well. This one is a coffee glass, like a latte glass. So it's just exactly the same. I've masked it off and spray painted it. Then I've taken the mask off and I'm going over with the UV resin at the same time. I mean, these are really cool for gifts and things. Yeah, I'm also out of puff. I've been trying to stop the dogs playing. Honestly, it's like having toddlers. But all I'm doing here again is making sure that I'm not going too far above the line. I'm eating tidy it up. And my hair's wet there, it's not grease. I've washed my hair. So I'm going over the bubbles again. Not water, I'm not picking water up. It's purely just bubbles. The smaller the bubbles, the smaller the texture you get. The bigger the bubbles, the bigger the texture. And you'll be able to see that as when I clean off the bubbles of where you get it. So again, just going round. I'm doing it in sections, just I think it's a little bit easier. It obviously depends on yourself, really. So again, the bubbles do melt under the pop under the UV light. It does not affect how it looks at all. This is great for pendants. It is great for like animal textures, dragons, all kinds of stuff. So just keep going. I don't think I miss much of the process out. I show it like I'm not stopping. Excuse me. I keep going. Even when I change my mind on when I do something. Warts and all, really. It's the way I do when I'm doing my lives and things. It's easier to show how to fix something than it is to just make everything out that it all worked perfect the first time. So again, more bubbles under the light. Remember, the lights are electric. You can still do one with a hand torch as well. But then what I've got here is I've got mica powder. So it's all dried off. It's all set, and I'm going over the whole glass with mica powder. I completely changed my mind once I've done it. Because sometimes the texture, you get like little sharp shards. And some of the resin I've set cured more than other places, so it's not still tacky. So I take some sandpaper here and I'm just getting off any of the high points. You can still feel the texture at the end of it, but any sharp bits, especially if you're giving them away, you don't want any sharp shards of resin. I mean, I don't think it would do much harm, but also it depends on the person whether they like the texture or not. But I'm obviously not sanding it right the way down, but I'm taking off any high points, and then I take a craft knife and I'm just tidying it up. You can tidy any bits around the top area where you've gone too far with the resin. I found it actually easier to mask off where I was spray painting rather than try and get the spray paint off the glass later on. I just thought it was easier that way, but everybody's different. So I'm taking here some Gildan flake glue, and I'm going over the whole thing. So I had some bits of where it was missing the mica, where it cured more than others. I go all the way over. This glue is a glue that is still tacky when it's dry. It's used for gilding flakes, it's used for foils, all different kinds of things. So I'm just going over thin coat everywhere. I do it on both the cup and the glass, and then you just leave it to dry. It doesn't take too long to dry. It'll go completely clear, but it'll still be tacky when it's done. And don't worry about getting this on the glass. It does just come off with a little bit of alcohol. I use 99% Iprasol to tidy up things. I use it to clean off the tools and things after. Again, just taking off any bits that I didn't want on, tidy it all up. Again, if you're giving them as gifts, you want it all as tidy as possible after. Obviously, the more you do, the better you'll get at it. But you can see there where I've gone over the top a bit with the resin. I'm just taking it off. Obviously, with it being glass, it's quite safe to scratch it. You're not going to take it off. There's no finish on these cups, so I'm not too worried. And again, I go on with the gilding flake glue all over. And I love the fact that I've got it on the handle as well. I did think about leaving the handle just plain, but I wanted it to match all the way around. I mean, imagine these. I mean, these could just go on show, because obviously they can't go in the dishwasher. You can wash them, as in like rinse them and put them, dry them off, but I wouldn't leave them to soak in the sink or anything like that. So now that they're dry, the flitter glue are pretty much dry. I'm so impatient. I take some more mica powder, and I'm going to use like a green and a blue for this one. And it just, I mean, look at the texture. It's just amazing. I just put it down with a little brush. It's surprising how little mica powder you do actually use for this. Now, I haven't tried it yet of putting the mica powder in the resin. I want to try that next, because I think as well that might be quite cool. Then you get the finish straight away. But I also like the fact that you can blend them together. So if you do try it, have a play, see how you get on. Obviously, you can do pendants and things like that. You could do vases with it. It's just endless. I've got so many ideas for it. It's just so cool. And I love the texture. I mean, you can do this texture in the background of canvases and things, wall art and stuff. So you don't have to keep it to glass. It can go anywhere, really. Onto wood, anywhere at all that you like. If you want this kind of bright background, though, I would always have a black background to start. You'll get a completely different effect if you just do it straight onto the glass without the spray paint. But again, play. Have a play, see what you come up with if you're going to try it. I'm going to play it eventually when these puppies behave themselves. I think we've got another 10 days before Bella can go back to her normal self when she's all healed. It'll be worth it in the long run. I know getting them spayed's better for them in the long run, but oh my gosh, it's been the longest week of my life, and we've got another week of it. She's got to literally babysat. She's a Frenchie, and I think she wants to be a wrestler. I've never seen anything like it. So obviously putting the gloves back on. Always put your gloves on when you're working with UV resin, especially if you're going to get your fingers in. So I take this UV resin again and I go along the top. Now, okay, I'm not too bothered if I go a little bit above the line here, because I feel like it'll adhere it better. But I'm just coating it enough. You can go over twice if you want. I just do it once because I don't actually mind the feel of the texture. If I was going to sell them anything like that, I probably would go over twice. Just to fill in all the little crevices and things, but I just go over once with it. I do slightly take it just slightly above the line. It just feels like it adheres better. You don't have to. It also gives you that little bit of wiggle room as well. However, you can go back over and take it off with your craft knife, scrape it off. I do the bottom as well, and that's mostly just to keep it all sealed in. So just all the way around. I do this one fully first, but then I do the other glass in sections, which I think the sections worked better actually than going over the whole thing the first time. It doesn't run because I'm not putting enough on for it to run everywhere. Obviously thinner layers are better than thicker layers. You can do a couple of thin layers and it won't run everywhere, but if you did a really thick layer first, you would end up with lines and drips, and I mean, that's a look you're looking for, go for it. And I haven't took it right up to the rim because people are going to drink out of that. I don't think it would be very nice. A lot of people I don't think would like the texture on the lips, and apart from anything else, that bit would chance to wear away quicker. Like I say, they're not dishwasher proof. They are not made for like sitting in the water in the sink for days on end, hours on end. Just rinse them. If you are selling them or you're giving them as a present, pop in a little leaflet of care. So this is the one way I do in sections, and I just feel like it works out a little bit better. So when it's pretty much cured, I move on to the next bit, because once it's all on, you can leave it in the torch and walk away and just keep turning it and cure it all properly. But again, now I've decided that wrapping the resin pot in the paper towel is a better idea. That it's not, when I've finished and I take my gloves off, I don't touch it with resin all over, because I did that and I ended up with resin everywhere, all over my hands, and I hate it. And apart from anything else, it's a chemical, you don't want that. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to keep the resin bottle wrapped, just because I'm messy. So again, all the way around, like I say, I haven't left any of this out. I've kept in warts and all, but I mean, how cool does that look? I have got pictures at the end of it all done. But I hope you enjoy this. Again, sorry I can't get live. I'm hoping for Thursday that she'll be more settled. But I hope you have a lovely week. And there they are. Thank you. Bye for now.